worried about this being too close to that other race?
Well, that's something we can't really know until he runs. You know, it's only a week ago, and sometimes horses, when they've been off for a long time and they run a good race as he did last week, you sometimes can tell on them, you know. So we won't really know until he runs, but the way he looks, and he's been working okay, so...
He looks perfectly cheerful, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks grand, yeah.
Now, John Joe, the other question, the distance. 3 miles here, admittedly it's a sharp 3 miles. Night Nurse's, most of his triumphs have been gained when he's been up there, having a lot of use made of him. Is it going to be possible for Alan to settle him and drop him in?
Well, I think he'll have to drop him in behind the first couple, because Zanetlock's daughter, I'm sure, will go on, and Tide Cottage will be there, you know, and they'll be going a fair old gallop, you know. And I think he'll get the trip really well, because going to the third last at Doncaster, that was 2.5 mile. I think he'll stay well, because they look like catching him going to the third last and the way he went, you know. So I think he'll be able to sit in and sit as long as he wants just behind them, and he'll come and do his job nicely.
I remember you telling me
And Night Nurse in the market at 4-1. The favourite Silverbuck at 9-4. Diamond Edge shows at 5-2. Night Nurse at 4-1. Anaglog's Daughter 11-2. And Chimrala 13-2. Bachelor's Hall and Tide Cottage both at 12-1. And Tenacoon the outsider 100-1. All 8 runners show.
And we're looking at Bill Smith cantering to the post on Diamond Edge, whom both John Joe and I believe is a very, very likely winner of the next Cheltenham Gold Cup. John Joe's just told me that. But on the other hand, there is the Gold Cup winner, Tide Cottage, in front of him. On the other hand, what we're wondering about is whether this sharp 3 miles will suit Diamond Edge anywhere near so well. There must be a risk it won't, John Joe.
Yes, because he, as you know in the past, he intends to miss the odd one out, you know, and I think if they'll go a real blistering gallop, they might just get him at it a little bit early on. And I don't think it'll be a race that you can make very many mistakes in.
The other day, Diamond Edge, giving lumps of weight at Cheltenham, beat the Irish Highway Pat, whom he was giving an enormous amount of weight, and the Massey Ferguson winner Buche Girod, which should, in theory, certainly make him a certainty to beat Bachelor's Hall today, because Bachelor's Hall was behind in the Massey Ferguson. So the big doubt with this one is whether Kempton will test his stamina sufficiently. These fences aren't at all stiff, and Fulk Walwyn and Bill Smith, as a matter of fact, both feel that Diamond Edge makes his mistake through sort of losing interest and losing attention, so that a fast pace may not cause him to make more mistakes, and if he doesn't, if he is there, well, they'll have a battle to beat him. Numbers, the favourite, I'm pretty certain, Silverbuck, who's giving Tommy Carmody a chance to win this race for a third unique year, and it would of course be Silverbuck's second year, because last year he beat Jack of Trumps, was all out to do so, but produced a fine turn of speed in the straight, and there's no doubt that this course suits him really well. For him too, it comes quite close after that defeat at Catterick. John Joe, you were there at Catterick, I think. What do you think, that would have had any bad effect on him?
No, I don't think so. I think actually the race would have done the horse good, because Mr. Dixon has been really doing a great job and picking his races nicely for him, you know, and it'll be the first race he's had for quite a while, you know. And I don't think he really had a hard race.
I didn't either. I quite agree with you. I can't think what Michael was so worried about. It seems to me that that was just a pretty well an ideal tune-up, and the winner is probably a pretty good horse. Now then, let's see the Irish pair. Well, there's Chinrunner on the left of your picture. This remarkable all-rounder, a winner of the Sweeps Hurdle, a winner of the 2-mile championship at Cheltenham, but can he get 3 miles? What do you feel about that, John?
Well, I honestly don't know myself, but I was talking to the lads earlier in the weighing room, and they were saying, well, he won the Sweeps Hurdle by just through staying, really, yes, which is quite true, you know.
And Peter O'Toole, not Peter O'Toole, Mick O'Toole is absolutely confident that he'll stay. He's ridden by Neil Madden, a professional now. And there are the other Irish pair, Anaglog's Daughter. This marvellous mare is running her 90th race today. We think she's going to make the running, don't we?
I'm nearly certain she will. She's very keen over the first two, Tommy was saying, and I think he'll just jump out and settle her, and then, well, try to settle her then after that.
He and other jockeys have said that she will settle, she will relax after a while in the lead, but although she's won a 3-mile hurdle in her amazing career, most of her victories have been over 2 or 2.5 miles, so that when the crunch is on over the last 4 fences, if she's still there, that will be the question. Has she enough left to beat, for instance, the likes of Diamond Edge on her right there? The little mare, a marvellous veteran of 90 races, believe it or not, and she's only 8 years old, Anna Glog's daughter. A look at the betting.
Daughter steady in the market, 11-2. The favourite Silver Buck still 9-4, and Diamond Edge at 5-2. Night Nurse shows at 4-1. Chimilla goes to 11-2 from 13-2, and Bachelor's Hall steady at 12. Tide Cottage goes out to 14-1 from 12-1. Tennycoon 100-1. They all show.
And there's Tide Cottage, the winner, of course, of the last Gold Cup, although he was lucklessly disqualified, and a luckless faller in the Gold Cup before that. Well, he's a March horse, John Joe. He usually finds his best in the spring. It'd be a surprise if he won today, wouldn't it?
I think it would, yes. I think he's just coming right, and the sun on his back will do him good. He ran very well at Punchestown last time, and shown great signs of coming back to himself anyway, but I think it's just a little bit early.
Tommy Carberry, who rode Anna Glog's daughter in that race, finished alongside Tide Cottage, in fact, didn't he, and has chosen to ride the mare again. Presumably he'd be on his own favourite if he thought he was going to win.
Yeah, I should think Anna Glog's will have shown him something more after she ran the last time.
Right. We haven't seen Tennycoon, the total outside. Oh, Bachelor's Hall, a past winner. We've got to mention him with the sash there, ridden by John Frankham, who's just ridden such a brilliant race over hurdles. Well, Bachelor's Hall won this 4 years ago and is coming back to form. He ran well in the Massey Ferguson behind Boucher-Girod, but that shouldn't give him any chance against Night Nurse. And I must say, it would be a bit of a miracle if Peter Cundall can bring him back at 11 years of age, even with John Frankham's services. We haven't seen the outsider Tennycoon, but he really is a very rank outsider. They're under orders, so over to you, John Penny.
And so the 8 runners line up for the King George. They have 3 miles, 19 fences. They're on their way. Tide Cottage the first to break from Anna Glog's daughter. And so they run now into the first. And Anna Glog's daughter going right up on the outside of Tide Cottage, goes into the lead at a blistering pace in the early stage. They whip over the first, and Silver Buck over in third. Next is an open ditch. Anna Glog's daughter in the lead from Tide Cottage. Then comes Silver Buck. They're immediately followed by Night Nurse, Chinruller, Bachelor's Hall on the outside, and the complete outside of Tennycoon, the back mark of the 8. And Anna Glog's daughter really scorching along, and is now some 10, probably 15 lengths clear of Tide Cottage, and Tide Cottage in turn is a long way clear, the remainder headed by Silver Buck. Then comes Night Nurse, Diamond Edge, Chinruller, Bachelor's Hall, and finally comes Tennycoon. But we've got to go right back to the leader, which must be now some 20 lengths clear, the main body of the field. That's Anna Glog's daughter in the lead. Jumps it big and well. Tide Cottage now comes up to take it in second place. And then after that comes Silver Buck, Night Nurse, Chinruller, Diamond Edge, Bachelor's Hall, and Tennycoon. And Anna Glog's daughter very nearly a fence in front of the others. Then comes Tide Cottage jumping it in second, followed by Silver Buck, Night Nurse, Chinruller, Diamond Edge, Bachelor's Hall, and Tennycoon. And Anna Glog's daughter comes over the intersection on towards the next fence. And she slowed up there a bit, but safely over. Tide Cottage jumps it second. Silver Buck over in third. Night Nurse and Diamond Edge hit the top of that one. He's just in behind Chinruller and the last two, Bachelor's Hall and Tennycoon. And once again, Anna Glog's daughter not jumping well in the lead, but landing safely ahead of Tide Cottage. Then comes Silver Buck, Night Nurse, Diamond Edge, Chinruller, Bachelor's Hall and Tennycoon. And so they swing round the end of the course and make their way into the straight for the first time. And it's Anna Glog's daughter still the clear leader from Tide Cottage. Tide Cottage now being joined by the rest of the field. That is Silver Buck just in behind him, Night Nurse, Chinruller. Then comes Diamond Edge, Bachelor's Hall and Tennycoon. And so they meet the first of the 3 in the straight, where Anna Glog's daughter continues to lead. And jumping a little bit to the left there from Tide Cottage over in second, just in front of Night Nurse and Silver Buck. Then comes Diamond Edge, Chinruller, Bachelor's Hall and Tennycoon. Anna Glog's daughter still the leader, but coming back to the field. And jumping at second still is Tide Cottage, who's just in front of Night Nurse. Then comes Silver Buck. Just in behind Silver Buck is Diamond Edge and Chinruller. And the last two are still Bachelor's Hall and finally Tennycoon. And so they come to the next, which will be the last next time round. Anna Clog's Daughter in the lead, but by only about 8 lengths or so now from Night Nurse, Silverbuck and Tide Cottage. Chinroller races with Diamond Edge, a gap after at the Bachelor's Hall and Tennycoon. And so they completed the first circuit. They come past the winning post. They have a circuit to go. Anna Clog's Daughter still the leader, but not quite such a convincing margin. Let's join the two Johns for their opinion of the race so far.
Well, there's a good deal of excitement in our box here. Tommy, I don't believe, John Joe, I don't believe that Tommy can last in front, do you?
Not at the gallop he took off us, you know, and then she started missing a couple. He's got a nicely settled now, but I wouldn't be happy not to go 3 miles anyway.
But on the other hand, not far behind her, Night Nurse and Silverbuck, perfectly placed, wouldn't you
Yes,
think?
beautiful, yeah, everything is going grand, good gallop for them, everything is running smoothly for the two lads, yeah.
They've overtaken Tide Cottage. Actually, Night Nurse has just dropped back a little bit there, but he jumped that perfectly well. Would you be happy about him?
Yeah, happy enough where he is at the moment, yes. Diamond Edge is just moving up as well, you know.
Diamond Edge is going very well, isn't he? I'm not quite so happy about Night Nurse. He's only just in front of Chinroller now. You think that's still all right?
Yes, once he straightens up down the back, I think he'll start making his move. And I'm happy enough with him, yes.
Well, I hope you're right, John Joe, but with Silverbuck in second place to Anna Clog's Daughter, back to you, John.
Yes, they now run towards fence number 13. Anna Clog's Daughter still the leader from Silverbuck in second place. And then you've got to go about 6 lengths for Diamond Edge, who's just in front of Night Nurse. And a mistake there by Anna Clog's Daughter again, but still just holds the lead from Tommy Carmody on Silverbuck. Now goes up to join her. And then it's this gap to Night Nurse, Diamond Edge, Bachelor's Hall, and Chinroller, and also Tide Cottage. And so they jumped that one. And Anna Clog's Daughter still in the lead, but only just by about a length from Silverbuck in second place. 10 lengths back then to Night Nurse, who's third. In front of Bachelor's Hall, Diamond Edge, Chinroller, and Tide Cottage. And as they meet the next, it's Silverbuck on terms with Anna Clog's Daughter. Night Nurse jumps it in third, and so they're running now to the last down the side of the course, and it's Silverbuck, just a fractional leader, takes it better, but I don't know, both a mistake there, but Silverbuck recovers well, now goes into the lead from Anna Clog's Daughter. Night Nurse is in third place, then behind them comes Diamond Edge and also Bachelor's Hall, and so they're making the turn, and Anna Clog's Daughter fighting back at Silverbuck, and Night Nurse also closing in on the two leaders, and so they're making their way back towards the straight. They have 3 fences of the King George still to go, and it's Silverbuck just a fractional leader, and Night Nurse and Alan Brown coming looming up on the outside of Anna Clog's Daughter. This is the third from home, and it's Silverbuck, Night Nurse and Anna Clog's Daughter, those 3 together. And Night Nurse just made a mistake there. They're running now towards the second last, and it's Silverbuck, Night Nurse and Anna Clog's Daughter. That's the leading 3. They're clear of Diamond Edge, 2 to go, and Silverbuck over in the lead, but only just from Night Nurse under pressure. Anna Clog's Daughter fighting back hard to get on terms, and so they're running now towards the final fence. It's Night Nurse on the near side taking on Silverbuck, who still has the lead. They're coming towards the final fence. It's Silverbuck in the lead, over, and Night Nurse is gone. Oh my word, he hit the top of that one. Anna Clog's Daughter now fighting back. Silverbuck is in the lead. They have 100 yards still to go, and Tommy Carmody looks all set to complete the 3-timer. He's done it. Silverbuck is the winner. Anna Clog's Daughter is second. Then comes Diamond Edge over in third. Chinroller 4, and a long way back then comes Tide Cottage. And he will finish over the line now. Bachelor's Hall is being the last one to finish, with the exception of Tennycoon, who's been the back marker all the way through. And already the quotes are now pouring in for Silverbuck in the Gold Cup. Ladbrokes go 8-1, Corals go 9-1. And then we have a quote here from the William Hill organisation, 8-1 Silverbuck from 10s. And the Toad have now slashed Silverbuck's odds for the Gold Cup, 40-1 down to 8-1. After this win in the King George VI Chase, won by Silverbuck for the 2nd year running in the colours of Mrs. C.E. Feather, trained by Michael Dickinson and ridden by Tommy Carmody. And so Tommy has now completed the 3-timer, having won on this horse last year and the year before on Gay Spartan. And what a race. Night Nurse must have been in there with a live chance, but it took it all wrong in the closing stages. Unseated Alan Brown, but let's see that. And
at this stage, we were both shouting our head off, both convinced that Night Nurse was coming if not to win his race, at least to make a battle of it. But look, because this is the first of two disastrous mistakes. He stands off too far, doesn't he, John Joe?
Yes, he does, and he just came down right on top of it. He nearly came down before the fence, you know.
He stood off a whole stride too far. Mind you, Anna Glog's daughter made a diabolical mistake there. What a marvellous race she's run.
She's run a great race. For the first mile, she ran so funny for a 3-mile race, really. If she hadn't run so silly, she would have had a great chance, you know.
But then John Joe was shouting to Alan because at the second last here, the old horse has still got a chance. He pings that one and lands running. And, well, I don't know, it seems to me that if Alan Brown had put his whip down and just kept hold of Night Nurse, maybe it could still have been done. But as you see, coming to the last, John Joe, you talk us through it. It's a tragic sight.
Well, it is really. He's just done the same thing, I think, as he did at the third last, you know, and to come back in the race after making a mistake like he did at the third last, it's just a fair performance in my opinion, so I wouldn't rule him out of any Gold Cup yet.
He's back in it, and look what he does now. You see?
He just mistook his stride altogether.
I mean, he missed the fence completely. It was extremely clever of him not to fall, and Alan Brown had no chance of staying on. So here, Silverbuck winning on merit for the second year running. You've got to jump the fences, so he deserves to.